A very good evening to all our viewers. You're watching World News on CVR English with me, Asma Afreen. In a landmark ruling, Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal handed down severe sentences following its investigation into the 2024 student protest crackdown. The tribunal, after nearly a month of hearings and reviewing a 453-page judgment, delivered capital punishment to two prominent figures. Former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and ex-Interior Minister Khan Kamal were sentenced to death, marking one of the most consequential judgments in the nation's political history. Additionally, former Police Chief Chaudhry Abdullah Al Momen received a 5-year prison term. The decision reflects the tribunal's stance on accountability for state actions during the unrest, sending a strong message about justice and responsibility in the face of widespread dissent.
পুলিশ ভাইদের প্রতি উদাত্ত আহ্বান করছি, আপনারা এখানে সদস্য আজকে আমরা কোনো ধরনের নেগোসিয়েশন মানব না। আজকে আমরা কোনো ধরনের নেগোসিয়েশন
এই বাড়ি এটা আমরা আজকে বুলডোজার দিয়ে যেভাবে হোক আমরা এটা ঘুরাই দিব এবং ঘুরাই দিয়েই আমরা তারপর এখান থেকে যাব।
In view of all the above facts and circumstances and findings, it is hereby ordered that accused Sheikh Hasina be found guilty on 3 counts under charge 1. Count number 1, incitement. Count number 2, order to kill. Count number 3, inaction to prevent the atrocities and failing to take punitive actions against the perpetrators, and thus she is punishable. She is liable to punish under section 3, subsection 1A, section 3, subsection 2, clause G, section 3, subsection 2, clause H, section 4, subsection 1, clause B, and section 4, subsection 3 of the International Crimes Tribunals Act 1973 under the charge number 1. But we do hold that for all these 3 counts of crime against humanity, we do incline to award a single sentence, that is the sentence of imprisonment till natural death for under charge 1. Under charge 2,
During a visit to France, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with French President Emmanuel Macron at Paris Area Air Base, where the two leaders finalized a major defense pact. The agreement is designed to bolster Ukraine's military strength as the war with Russia continues, reflecting deeper European commitment to Kyiv's security. By formalizing this cooperation, France and Ukraine signal a united front in addressing the challenges posed by the ongoing conflict. Zelensky's trips highlights the growing momentum of European nations working together to ensure sustained support for Ukraine, marking a pivotal moment in regional defense strategy and reinforcing the importance of international solidarity in the face of escalating tensions. Chinese Premier Li Qiang has refused to meet Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi during the upcoming G20 summit in South Africa, highlighting escalating tensions over Taiwan. The move follows Beijing's condemnation of Takaichi's recent comments suggesting Japan could respond militarily if a Chinese attack on Taiwan endangered its security. China has demanded a retraction, while a senior Japanese envoy arrived in Beijing on November 17 to attempt to ease the dispute. In response, Beijing issued travel warnings to its citizens, signaling the seriousness of the standoff. The strained relations underscore the growing friction between the two Asian powers as they confront sensitive security issues ahead of high-stakes global talks.
I wanted to follow up on the senior official from Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We're wondering if Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with this official or who met with him, and also wanted to ask if Premier Li Qiang will speak with the Japanese Prime Minister at G20 this weekend. Thank you.
关于你提到的第一个问题，目前我没有可以提供的信息。你的第二个问题，我可以告诉你，李强总理没有会见日方领导人的安排。日本首相高市早苗发表错误的涉台言论，严重伤害了中国人民的感情，严重恶化了中日人员交流的氛围。日方应当恪守中日4个政治文件的精神，立即纠正错误言行，防止中日关系受到进一步损害。 我想强调的是，针对日本首相高市早苗的涉台错误言论，中方已经并将继续向日方提出严正交涉和强烈抗议，严肃要求日方立即反思纠错，收回错误言論，停止在涉华问題上製造事端。
In Vilnius, European Commissioner Andrius Kubilius urged Baltic nations to reinforce joint defense systems, warning that Russia could test NATO's Article 5 collective defense clause within 5 years. Speaking at the Defending Baltics 2025 War Lessons from Ukraine conference, he cautioned that Moscow's army is now much stronger than in early 2022. Kubilius emphasized that future conflicts may rely on drones and missile strikes against critical infrastructure, pressing NATO's eastern flank to enhance air defenses and energy protection. He also called for deeper EU-Ukraine cooperation and faster EU accession for Kyiv, despite corruption concerns. His remarks echoed German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius' warning that Russia could rebuild military capacity by 2029, posing a grave NATO risk.
The urgency of the first question comes from the public statements of our intelligence services, including from Germany, Denmark, Finland, the Netherlands, and from our region, that Putin can be ready to test Article 5 during the next 2 or 4 years before 2030. If Russia wins a scenario by Carlo Massala, the well-known German analyst, who is also a professor in Bundeswehr University, presents a threatening scenario when NATO fails to agree on how to react when Narva is occupied. I don't want to elaborate on Carlo Massala's scenario, but defending the Baltics means to be ready for different scenarios. And I would like to remind everybody that the Treaty of European Union contains a famous Article 42.7 on mutual assistance in the case of military aggression against a single member state, which some experts are calling a stronger one than NATO Article 5 in terms of the obligations of member states to help each other. But my talk today will be devoted not to discuss how NATO or EU is preparing to defend the Baltic states, but more to how the Baltic states are preparing to defend themselves and at the same time to defend the whole European Union, and how the Union can help the Baltic states in this heavy strategic task. I have had possibility to read only United Kingdom 2025 UK Strategic Defence Review, which shows that they really learned the lessons from Ukraine. In the future, the British military will prepare to strike 80% of targets with different types of drones and missiles, and only 20% with classical means, tanks and artillery. Very much like they are doing in Ukraine. What's about us in the Baltics? Where are our strategic defense reviews? And in addition to that, we need to answer ourselves the question, what do we need to be ready for? For a classical war of aggression with tanks and artillery rolling all over our borders, which triggers the Article 5 of NATO? Or do we need to be...
South Korea has officially proposed military-level discussions with North Korea to set a clear baseline along the military demarcation line. The initiative is intended to reduce the risk of accidental clashes and calm rising tensions in the demilitarized zone. Recent increases in North Korean incursions and heightened activity near the border have fueled fears of a possible confrontation. By opening dialogue, Seoul aims to establish mechanisms that can prevent misunderstandings and stabilize the fragile situation. The proposal underscores South Korea's broader efforts to manage security challenges while maintaining deterrence, reflecting the urgency of preventing escalation in one of the world's most sensitive military flashpoints.
우리 군의 대응이 지속되면서 비무장지대 내 긴장이 높아지고 있습니다. 자칫 남북 간 군사적 충돌로 이어질 가능성도 우려되는 상황입니다.
What you're looking at is where that happened. And the reason that it was called, if you were a POW in the north and wanted to return south, you could come south across the bridge. But once you
Thousands of demonstrators filled the streets of Brussels to denounce what they see as inadequate measures by Belgium and other European governments in addressing Israel's military operations in Gaza. Protesters demanded sanctions, condemned the current ceasefire as ineffective, and pressed authorities to block military equipment from reaching Israel. The march began at Gare du Nord and proceeded towards Palace Jean Rey, drawing large crowds united in their call for stronger action. Organizers and union pledging to continue mobilizing, signaling that further demonstrations are planned. The protest reflects mounting frustrations across Europe as a citizen push for more decisive policies on the Gaza conflict and humanitarian protection.
Et là donc pour rappeler que le gouvernement belge et européen ne peuvent pas se réfugier derrière une parodie de cessez-le-feu pour ne pas prendre des mesures contre Israël parce qu'ils ont l'obligation de prévenir le génocide et là on voit que le génocide continue malgré ce cessez-le-feu et donc les sanctions contre Israël s'imposent comme une obligation pour les États, c'est pas ça ne dépend pas de leur volonté politique, c'est une obligation qui s'impose à eux. Et donc notamment, c'est un scandale qu'il y a toujours du matériel militaire qui continue de transiter par la Belgique vers Israël.
La tour de bras qu'on en enferme encore. On y vole des terres encore.
Le mouvement syndical dit que c'est un génocide et donc on veut le palestinien. L'armée israélienne empêche la récolte des olives, qui est une en novembre, il y a une journée particulière.
The United Arab Emirates has dispatched its 224th humanitarian convoy into Gaza under the For the Children of Al Zayatoun initiative, part of the broader Chivalrous Night 3 operation. Footage captured aid supplies being loaded onto trucks before crossing through Rafah. The convoy comprised 22 lorries carrying approximately 426 tons of essential relief, including food, shelter, materials, clothing, and specially prepared children's packages. This effort is directed towards supporting more than 20,000 orphans in Gaza, reflecting the UAE's ongoing commitment to humanitarian assistance amid the region's crisis. The operation underscores the scale of internationalized aid mobilization and highlights the focus on vulnerable groups, particularly children in conflict-affected areas. Greece and Ukraine have unveiled a new natural gas import route designed to reduce reliance on Russian energy. The announcement made in Athens by Greek Prime Minister Kyrios Mitsotakis and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky provides Ukraine with access to diversified gas supplies while enhancing Greece's role as a rising LNG hub for Europe. The initiative aligns with broader US-EU energy cooperation and ongoing plans to expand LNG imports, reflecting a strategic effort to strengthen Europe's energy security. By deepening bilateral ties, the agreement underscores both nations' commitment to countering Russian influence in the energy sector and ensuring more resilient supply chains across the continent.
Και της πρέσβης των Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών στην Ελλάδα, κυρίας Κίμπερλι.
Αγαπητέ Βολοντίμιρ, οι σχέσεις των χωρών μας αποκτούν τώρα μία επίσης νέα κρίσιμη πτυχή. Αυτή της νέας ασφαλούς ενεργειακής αρτηρίας που χαράσεται από τον νότο προς το βορρά, από την Ελλάδα μέχρι την Ουκρανία. Και αυτό μέσω του υποδιαμόρφωση κάθετου ενεργειακού διαδρόμου και του διασυνδετηρίου άξονα Αλεξανδρούπολης-Οδυσσού. Έτσι η Ουκρανία αποκτά άμεσα πρόσβαση σε διαφοροποιημένες και αξιόπιστες πηγές ενέργειας, ενώ η Ελλάδα καθίσταται πλέον κόμβος τροφοδοσίας της κεντρικής και της ανατολικής Ευρώπης με αμερικανικό υγροποιημένο φυσικό αέριο. Είναι μια καθοριστική συμβολή στην ενεργειακή σταθερότητα, την ανθεκτικότητα και την ασφάλεια όχι μόνο της δικιάς μας αλλά και της δικιάς σας περιοχής. Μιλάμε ουσιαστικά για την άμεση, επαναλαμβάνω, άμεση ενεργοποίηση του κάθετου διαδρόμου που συνδέει την Ελλάδα με την Ουκρανία. Ενώ ταυτόχρονα θέλω να κάνω και μια μνήα στην συμφωνία την οποία υπέγραψε η ΓΕΚΤΕΡΝΑ με την Ukrainido Energy, σηματοδοτεί και αυτή την πρόσθετη υλοποίηση ενός έργου αντισοταμίευσης, το οποίο θα σταθεροποιήσει το ενεργειακό δίκτυο της Ουκρανίας. Η Ελλάδα, έτσι για να το πούμε πολύ απλά λόγια, καθίσταται ένας πάροχος ενεργειακής ασφάλειας για την...
Nearly 100 arrests were carried out in Charlotte, North Carolina as part of President Donald Trump's expanded immigration enforcement campaign. According to the Department of Homeland Security and local reports, the large-scale operation drew sharp criticism from city leaders, with Mayor We Lives warning that it generated unnecessary fear and uncertainty among residents. Since returning to office, Trump has directed federal agents to multiple cities, framing the initiative as the beginning of what he describes the largest deportation program in U.S. history. The Charlotte arrests highlight the growing tension between federal immigration policy and local concerns, underscoring the broader national debate over enforcement, community trust, and the scope of executive authority.
Welcome here.
Say it loud and say it clear.
Say it loud.
Ice detention no more.
Ice detention no more. Our city.
Whose city?
Our city.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
Whose city?
Money for jobs and education. Money for jobs and education.
If the billionaires keep funding ICE.
Billionaires keep funding ICE.
Immigrants.
We want justice, you say how? ICE out of going now. ICE out of
Belarus has confirmed its readiness to resume broader traffic, with Poland at Warsaw prepares to reopen two major road checkpoints following overnight reconstruction. Officials from both countries convened at the Bruzki and Britsovitsa crossing to coordinate the restart of passenger and cargo flows, ensuring smoother processing through nearly updated electronic queue systems. Belarusian authorities emphasized that the checkpoints had not been closed from their side and highlighted that the installation of modern monitoring equipment and upgraded customs systems now fully operational ahead of the reopening. The move signals a step toward easing cross-border transit and improving logistical cooperation between the two neighbors after recent disruptions.
Белорусская сторона пункты пропуска не закрывала и готова к работе. Все необходимые подготовительные мероприятия проведены. Также сегодня на границе в пунктах пропуска Брузги, Кузница, Белостоцкая и Берестовица, Бобровники состоялись встречи с польской стороной на уровне начальников отделений погранконтроля и начальников таможенных постов.